Welcome to Digital Creators, and today we are going to learn how to create some variety of text styles. Kind of hard for me to say textiles. Create some variety of textiles as shown here on the iDraw tutorials. So if you're like me, I recently moved over to iDraw, or recently purchased iDraw a month or so ago because of the text features. I wanted the capability of curving text and adding some variety to my text. And I came to the tutorials, iDraw tutorials, and there's a lot of great tutorials on here. So if you're new to iDraw, definitely check it out. There's some creative techniques you can learn from these tutorials. But I came over here and it did not show me how to curve text or create some of these effects. And as you can see on the comments, people are asking, where's the text? Where's the tutorial at? So I played around with it and tried to achieve some of these effects, and that's what I want to share with you guys today. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up iDraw, and this is what I created myself, mimicking the look from the iDraw tutorial page, and added a few extra of my own here at the bottom. And hopefully, if this doesn't run long, I will throw in how to curve text, how to curve your text, if you don't know how to do that. So thanks for joining us again, and we are going to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do, if you haven't, and if you're following along, go ahead and open up your iDraw. I set my screen size to 16 by 9 for the canvas size and with the grid, but you can have it really any size you want and use any format you want. So I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of these right here. Delete layer. I'm going to just add a new layer just so I keep the same size and get rid of that. Get rid of this one. Delete. Alright, so it's like starting with a fresh look. And if they just updated iDraw, and one of the things I like about it is the full frame kind of layout instead of pieces, kind of like Pixelmator is. What tends to happen is I have these windows overlapping and I lose where things are. And I'm just horrible at keeping organized like that. I like the fact that it keeps it all in one window frame, and you can click here to get the features you want. I think that's pretty awesome. So we're going to go into text styles here. First thing I want to do is add a color to the layer. So I want to come over here, just make sure this default is set up the way I want to, and I guess we'll go gradient since we're going to gradient this and kill this. Send the stroke all the way to alpha, and click on the box. So I'm going to add this box layer here to it, and I'm going to adjust it to better suit my eye here. Where was I going here? All right, so up here, if you're new, and forgive me if I'm reiterating the obvious, if you've been doing this for a while, but up here are some of your features where you can change the styles, colors, and all sorts of things. So we're going to click on this last one here, and right beside the color tab, if I was going to change a solid color, I can click on that to a pattern or whatever, but I want to adjust it. I want to fine tune a little bit. So you click on this small little paper symbol, I don't know what it's called, right there, and I want to adjust this to, I think it's actually somewhere around, that's good enough. It actually comes about 110 degrees on the example image, but we're just trying to get close because the text is our main feature here. I'm going to slide this down and slide this over. I'm going to change this color a little bit. A little darker. one up. Get that off alpha. There we go. Now it's blending a little better. Move this up. There we go. That's good enough. I don't want to waste time on the background too much. All right, so let's go to our layers here. And I just clicked off of them. Let me close that, so I don't get confused. And we're going to add another layer, just like that. And down here is a layer symbol if you're tracking. I'm supposed to have text, or I'm recording this on QuickTime, and it's supposed to. I don't know why it's not doing it. It's supposed to show mouse clicks. Not sure why it's not doing that. But anyway, so let's add in our text. Text. Caps lock off. Text. And then another thing, sometimes when you click on it and you're still on, you know, the box or something, it doesn't work right. You just got to make sure you click on that little pointer thing. I'll expand this a little bit because I'm about to blow this up a little bit. So I'll come over here to the tabs and I'll click on the T for text, and I'm going to raise it up a little bit. So hopefully it becomes a little bit more visible. Okay, that's too slow, so I will just type in 200. How about that? And maybe 220. Actually, I'm going to overshoot it just so I make sure I get the right. I don't spend all day going to increments here. All right, so I'm going to control, Command C, copy, paste. Add a couple rows here. Command C, Command V, copy, paste. And then I'm going to highlight all three, copy, paste, and copy, paste. I'll do 3 rows here. And actually, I'm working on 2 screens, so I'm going to bring up the example. Slide this over so I have something to look at, so I know which ones I'm doing here. All right, so let's start with this first one. This first one is actually pretty simple. It's just a solid white color. If I can get the text here. Oh, I'm not changing the font or the location or anything like that. So obviously text, I would use text for alignments and font size and stuff like that. But I'm going to change this. You can really do, I imagine, either or, fill or text. Fill doesn't fill in the box itself, it just fills in the color. But because I'm not doing a gradient, because you can't do a gradient on, I don't think you can, on the text color itself, you have to go to text. Goodness. You don't want to move. Okay. Anyway, we're just going to set it to white here. White. All the way up in the corner. And let's see how close we can get to it. So I can see that there's a drop shadow on it. So I'll just go down here to drop shadow. And this is actually a pretty basic one here, I think. Increase the size of the drop shadow. My screen must be tilted because I can't see a drop shadow happening here. Oops, wrong way. There we go. Now I can begin to see it. So I don't think it's that far. I think it's a little less. and the blur will make it look a little bigger. A slight blur. And I think that's it. If you look at the iDraw tutorial page of the example, I don't see, at least visibly, any inner glow or any other shadows, and a simple drop shadow kind of pops the text out, so that's kind of nice. This next one, we are going to change it to white, but this time I'm going to change the alpha down to about what I think the center. See, there's an outer glow on it, so it can be deceiving of how much alpha is on it. So I look at the center of the text, and I can see it's pretty light, kind of like that. And they have an inner glow and a drop shadow on it. So let's go ahead and do the inner glow, and that is a white inner glow with a little bit of alpha. Where are you at? Let me move this down here. There we go. A little bit of blur. That's probably too much. Is that white? It doesn't look white, does it? I think it's my screen. I'm using an old monitor for the second one, so this white could actually be off. Make that a little bit smaller. And lower the alpha just a tiny bit more. And the drop shadow. And for the drop shadow, I'm just looking at, I can tell that it's on the bottom sides. The top of it doesn't look like it has much of a shadow, if any. So I'm just using the basic drop shadow, vice the outer glow. Blur it a little bit and shrink this down. Kind of something like that. I'll slide the screen over here real quick so you can see if you're not tracking so it looks something like this. Close. My background's a little darker than theirs, and I got a different font, but you got the idea. And this third one is actually, I'm going to delete this, copy this one, copy paste, because there isn't much difference except more alpha, and they do, yeah, it just looks like the text itself, color. More alpha in it. And the inner glow looks a little bit more dominant. Kind of like that. All right, so that looks pretty good. And let's move to the next one. The next one, the text looks like it's sunken into the texture itself with a little bit of gradient to it. So in this case, I'm just going to go to Fill, click off Text, and change it to Gradient. Linear, coming from the south. They use dark blue, like a darker blue, and to a light opaque or blue with some alpha in it. So we'll shoot for somewhere close to that. Looks good. And good enough. Good enough. Okay, get off that. Go away. Go away. There we go. All right. And an inner shadow is what kind of creates that sunken in look. I keep switching from the trackpad on the Mac to the mouse. I don't know why. I think because the trackpads are just so easy to use. Sometimes it's not like a trackpad on a PC that I used to use. All right, enough talking. Let's darken this up a little bit. Let's make it a little stronger. Just like that. And to add a little better effect to it, I see that they used a drop shadow, because I see the highlight white on the text is only on the bottom portion. So they use a drop shadow, change it to white, like that. Dim it down a little bit. It's a little stronger than that. And I will make this smaller. Am I hitting the wrong one? I'm hitting the wrong one. My goodness. What, I have this at 4? Something like that. Here we go. Just like that. So take a look at it. Here's the original. So you can see the white tracing on the outer portion. And it kind of tells me it's a drop shadow vice circling around it completely. And it's indented, which is kind of cool. I like that effect. It looks pretty sweet. Move back over here. And this second row, actually I'm going to do the same thing and delete these because they didn't deviate. Control C, Control V, copy paste. They didn't deviate from this too much. And copy and paste will save a little time so this video doesn't get dragged out too far. Looks like they just changed the color to black. So we will go color black. Let's see how just changing that color, how close we get to that text. I can see now that the bottom half there is a gradient. So just for general purposes, we'll put the gradient on there. Change it coming from the south. Nope, wrong way. Minus 90. Make this black. And then it looks like they changed this one and add a little bit of alpha. Let's see how that does. A little bit more. How about that one? Well, that's pretty close if you ask me. Yipper. Let's see the next one. If you're looking here, it still has that white drop shadow. Excuse me. It's got a gradient. Looks like the top half this time is a little bit of transparency in it, and it has a little drop. It's kind of hard to see the inner glow. I don't know if it's a glow or drop shadow. Well, let's see how it looks. So we'll copy paste this one. We're going to reverse this color here. Color fill. We're going to change this one because this one's opposite. And how's that? A little better. Yeah, I think that's all they did. So these three, they kind of, you know, they look a lot different, but really there isn't much difference in them except a small adjustment to the color gradient, and that's about it. So there we go. Let's move down to this one. So it has a drop shadow, gradient, alpha, because it's kind of similar to the background. Or you could probably kind of pick that color and get the same effect. A lot of different ways to do it. It's got an inner, because the top is white, it's hard to see if there's a inner glow on the top. It looks like it might be. Let me zoom in on it a little bit. All right, well, let's see what we come up with here. What color was it? We're on white. White, 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 white. White, gradient, minus 90. Oh, wrong half there, crazy. Wrong half, Robert. What are you doing? And darken it up a little bit, just like that. I hear this strange banging. I hope it's not coming over through the mic. Okay, we'll do more alpha on the bottom. Can't remember if this, nope. I always get these halves mixed up. Alright, so it's got an inner glow. We'll jump to that. Inner glow or drop shadow, inner glow. Let's try inner glow first. Shrink this window a little bit. See inner glow and drop shadow. Hopefully that will start to bring out that effect a little bit. Yes, although this looks like it goes a little bit more, so I'm gonna add a little bit more to it. There we go. That's a little better. And I'm gonna lighten this background just so I can see that effect a little better. I can't tell if somebody's trying to start a motorcycle outside or somebody's beating on something. Oh well, crazy neighbors. Crazy neighbors. Here we go. Let's lighten this a little bit. That's a little better. Now let me get back to the text. It's just killing me. I have to lighten this up because it's really killing me. Oh man, I just added one I didn't want to. How do I get rid of it? How do I get rid of it? I don't want to add. Oh well. Good enough for government work. Something tells me. There we go. I was not on the right thing. Yeah, you can jump ahead because this is pretty sure it's boring. I just feel like I needed to fix that to get this effect a little closer. Drop shadow, inner glow, and another effect. Bam, next one. I must be on this first. So this one, again, I'm just going to delete these, save some time. Just like that. Copy, paste. And it doesn't actually look the drop shadow. This one actually may look like it has more of an outer glow. This one, let's go ahead and change the drop shadow. Increase it a little bit to 3, and we'll base it out like that. The white is white. Transparency. Yeah. Close? No, yes, maybe. And this one. Last one. And then I'll show you a couple other quick effects, and I'll do the curve. The curve text. This one is just a drop shadow with hardly any blur. Like that. And text fill, gone. Text stroke. Ooh. Sorry, text fill is actually transparent. So let's go to text and change this down to nothing. There we go. That looks better. Close this window. Go back to stroke. Make that stroke smaller to about there, and get rid of the inner glow. Just like that. And they change the angle of it a little bit, so we will do that. So how to change angle on this is you mess with the X axis, and we will offset it just a little bit more. And that, as I can see, their drop shadow is not quite that big. Something like that. And there is some 6 basic effects. Not much difference between a lot of them, just a small tweak, but as you can see, you can get totally different styles. This one and this one look kind of the same on mine, and I think the only difference is I would just have to get rid of some of that transparency to make it a little bit whiter. Kind of like that. Something like that. and you can see the white, the glow on this one is a little bit more dominant. So maybe we will make it more dominant here. There. Now they're a little different. All right, another cool effect, and I don't know if this was on the version before, because like I said, I haven't been using this program very long, is I noticed down here the blur. I'm not sure if blur was on it before or not. And you can adjust the blur. Pretty simple. And the other thing I kind of mess around with is creating 3D text. Creating text that looks 3D. And I've tried a couple different techniques. One is just doing a inner shadow, but blurring it a little bit, and let's get rid of this alpha from it, and then offsetting it. Let's go the other way. So the one side there is starting to pop out. And let's minus this a little bit more. There you go. So that kind of gives, and you can play around with the X and Y to get more of that inner shadow on one side and change the blur of it to kind of make it look a little bit more 3D. Why is there glow on this one? So it didn't quite catch the edge, and I think you can adjust that. No, another way you could actually fix that problem, you can see on this outer edge is white, so it kind of throws off that 3D effect a little bit. You can add a stroke to it. Let's see how this does. I can get it to cover up that white line, but the inner portion of it. Let's go outside. So that really didn't do it. So let's try one more thing. Outer glow. Actually, drop shadow. Let's try the drop shadow. And we will change the direction of it a little bit. Nope, still has that. Maybe if I change this. Nope, that's the whole way. Man, just can't seem to get rid of that white line to make it look really 3D. Yeah, and then another way, and I'll show you. Actually, let me go ahead and show you the curve text, and then if you want to stick around, I'm going to play with this a little bit and try to get a better 3D text here. I know another way that I've done it in the past, and we will try that. So I'm going to create a new layer, hide these layers. Yeah, we can leave the background layer on. All right, so let's add in our text. How to curve text click on the pointer just so I can drag it over here. And here you want to click on the ellipse tool, and really you can do pretty much anything, I think. Any of these shapes. Just a quick note, if you hold down, let me get this right, Shift, when you go to drag that circle, you'll keep a perfect circle. So, yep, that's right. So I'm holding Shift down and it maintains that perfect circle. Change the inner to, excuse me, I had to mute the mic. Change the inner to clear. And here all you want to do is click on the shape, Command click to highlight both the text and the shape, and then you go up here to modify, edit, where, alright, now I just had this. Okay, am I missing it? Man, I can't believe it. Place text on path. So this will place the text around the circle, and we'll make it a bigger since our text is kind of big. I'm going to hold down Command, grab that corner, so I maintain that perfect circle. And then if you want to adjust it on this path, you can see that at the beginning of how to curve text, you have this darker blue dot. You can grab that and curve it. And then if you actually want to change the shape, I won't hold Shift down, and I can manipulate the shape this way too. And this is the main reason I got iDraw, because coming from a and I switched over years ago over to Mac, but one of the things that you could do easily on PowerPoint, and it seemed like most of the Microsoft applications, is create curved text or 3D text, and for some reason, unless someone out there knows, but I've tried to find out how and I couldn't, and I've been told it's not possible. So if you know, please let me know, is when you're using the standard applications, iWorks, Numbers, Keynotes, you cannot curve text in there. I don't even think you can curve it in Pixelmator unless they added it to the new version. And that was kind of frustrating because it seemed like a simple thing to add in that people use a lot, curving text and creating 3D text. So that's pretty much it. So if you're going to jump out now, thanks for tuning in. I hope you learned something. And if you can provide any feedback on what I've done here, please leave a comment. I'm just a novice learning how to do this, sharing my digital creations with you guys, and for many reasons. One, to hopefully, if you're getting involved like I have, you may learn something, and if not, you can help me better myself at creating some of this stuff. So thanks for joining, and I'm just going to continue on. Hide this layer, and I want to go back and I want to figure out how to do this. Turn this layer back on. 3D text. So one of the other ideas I had is I'm just going to create a whole new text here. Copy it in here. Text. We're going to make it white. pointer, pointer, pointer. There we go. I'm going to create another one. Copy, paste. I'm going to make it black. And I could probably, I just thought of this, blur it just a little bit. Come down here. And I'm going to put it behind this one. So it's pretty close, although you can see a hard line here. So I think a way to get rid of that would be to add a inner shadow on that right side. Something like that, I think. Getting there. Getting there. Let's move it about right there, and we'll make this back one. We'll make this back one a little, the font actually a tiny bit smaller. Now we'll go back to this first one here. Nope. Nope. I did not get it. That, my friends, is not what I was looking for. Oh, in fact, it's horrible. Look at that. Ew. I'm going to try it one more time. And if you guys know how to do this, please share it. Leave a comment, link to your video. I'll be glad to watch it and learn something here. For sure. Get rid of inner shadow. How about this? I know, I feel like I'm so close to getting it. Let's do a gradient. Change this to white. Change this side to opacity. Change the alpha. No, because it does it from the, it doesn't do it from the edge of each text. So that didn't work. I mean, I can essentially draw it in, but who wants to do that? Okay, let's try one more thing. Man, I know I'm so close. Let's try making it bigger. Not smaller, bigger. Oh, are you kidding me? I'm like, why did that disappear? I realize that because my box was not big enough for the text. No. 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 Oh, I just messed that up. Well, as you can see, I failed at trying to make a 3D text the simple way. This is probably the closest I've come. And this one just looks horrible. So that will be it. Thanks for joining me here on Digital Creators. And if you stuck around this long, I'm sorry. But my quest now is to create 3D text without drawing the 3 dimensions in. And I think if I actually think about it for a little bit, I'll actually come up with an idea. But I'm not going to waste your time anymore. Thanks for joining us, Hero and Digital Creators, and please leave a comment, share, critique. I am more than happy to take your criticism to improve my skills, and if not, hopefully you learned something. Hit the like, comment, subscribe, share is much appreciated, and that's a way to support me, is by leaving comments and sharing it. And that's all I can ask. So thank you very much for attending. Bye.